Hikoshi, Hikoshi, Sasato Hikoshi. Hello, I'm Cheyenne.
And I'm Frankie.
And this is Conbini Cult. Welcome to this week's episode. How are you doing, Frankie?
I'm doing good. I'm really excited for today's topic.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I've got some crazy stories. You've got some crazy
Mine are kind of mild.
Yeah. And then we've got some crazy submissions.
Yes, I'm excited to read those.
Yeah, as well as, Reddit stories and we'll just talk about a really famous case here in Japan as well. But to tell you what today's topic is, if you haven't noticed from the title already, it is about
bad neighbors.
Yeah. Have you seen that movie? I think it's called Neighbors or Bad Neighbors. It had Zac Efron and Dave Franco.
No.
And then Seth Rogen. No?
Oh, no, I've never seen it.
It's what were the years when Dave Franco was like super peak, like in everything? This was his 21
Wasn't
Jump
that a
Street
few years
era.
ago?
Oh, a while back. Yeah, this is 2015, I want to say.
Okay.
Or earlier, like before or after that period. But basically, him and Zac Efron are these like college frat guys that live in a frat house. Okay. And next door moves in Seth Rogen, his wife, and their new baby. So it's kind of, family, quiet suburban life versus this college frat boy life. And they battle back and forth with each other. And spoiler alert, they became like friends at the end, I think. I'm not too sure. It's like one of those funny comedies, nothing too serious. But yeah, it's a good movie on topic with the stories we have for today, I think.
Okay.
But before we get into that, did you have any life updates you wanted to talk about?
Yeah, so it's a little bit sad. So we had talked about sometime last year because I went to this little beach island in Fukui Prefecture. And in that area, so along the coast of Fukui and even in Ishikawa as well, there was a dolphin that had been ravaging the community. Like attacking swimmers for the past few years. Yeah. Over 50 people. 53 people. Yeah. So either ramming into them or biting them.
It was big news. We joked about it. We called him the Andrew Tate of dolphins. Using
the alpha dolphin.
The red pill dolphin. Using his aggression against everyone. Yeah.
When really he might have just been a lonely dolphin who was separated from his pack or something. Or maybe they kicked him out of the pack. Who knows?
Something. Or you know how, for example, in SeaWorld or big aquariums that have, caged big fish like that. What is his name? Tilikum. What fish is he? Oh my God. Why am I like an orca? Shamu. Yeah. And so, or you have dolphins too, where if they're enclosed in a space, when they start to go crazy, they ram into the wall and stuff. Yeah. Maybe he was just, like missing his pack or going through something and then started ramming into people. But anyway, what happened to him?
So just a few days ago, I went to visit this same beach in Fukui. And then I was talking to my friend, like, I wonder if that dolphin has attacked anybody this year. What's going on with him? And then we found an article that says he was found dead off the coast in Fukui.
Poor thing. Not us like talking crap about him all last year. And then now he's just...
It was lighthearted jokes.
Yeah.
So actually in June of this year, local authorities captured him. Temporarily, they put a tracking device on him. But within...
On the hunt, or not on the hunt. He was being hunted. Yeah.
He was wanted. Yep. But within a month that they lost signal of the tracking device. And then a few weeks after that, they found his carcass.
Yeah. Just washed up on the beach or in the water and they just found him.
I think it was floating in the water and maybe some fishermen found him or something. But
and they knew it was him because of the tracking device, probably.
Yeah, I think they just knew what he looked like at this point because it's been a few years
on that wanted
tormenting
poster.
The community.
Yeah, poor thing though. I hope. Well, we don't know the cause of his death, right? And so I hope it was.
Yeah, as of today, August 22nd, undetermined cause of death.
I wonder. I mean, I guess we'll find out eventually. Maybe he was older. I don't know what the lifespan of a dolphin is, but it seems like a long time. But
should I Google it?
What is the lifespan of a dolphin? Yes. What? Okay, what? No way. Really? What kind of dolphin was he?
So it depends what kind of dolphin he was. I think he was a bottlenose dolphin.
Okay.
So they could live for more 60 years, 48 years or something.
Oh, no. Okay, so that's a long time. And I doubt he was 60 years old dying of natural causes,
Yeah, I don't know.
I wonder if he was sick. He must have been sick with something which caused him to be super aggressive.
Loneliness.
loneliness, the loneliness epidemic, the male loneliness epidemic in this dolphin explains the red pill aggressive behavior. No, we're just kidding. But anyway, rest in peace. Yeah. But if you're out in Fukui, I guess you don't have the threat of that dolphin anymore.
Yeah. So actually, when I was at the beach the other day, I was... It felt a little safer.
I was going to say, the atmosphere just felt a little different.
A little quieter.
Edge. Yeah. No, but I remember you sent me, the article about this because we were going to talk about it when we were planning our notes.
It's RIP to our homeboy.
Yeah, I saw the article and I read the title and my jaw literally dropped. I was like, what? I can't believe, one, he died, of course, but we had an update on him. Like, he was that famous to have the article published about him and had this be made into news. So, I don't know. Rest in peace to our homeboy.
Yeah, I was very surprised to see that.
Yeah.
But also, when I was at the beach in Fukui, so there were people from Fuji TV that were there interviewing people about, because it's called Mizushima. It's like, it's basically a sandbar. It's not really an island. There's nothing really on it except a place to sit and go swim. Some trees.
They had like toilets there too, right? Like a little porta potty station.
Thingy.
And then that's literally it. It looked like,
So they were not interviewing people about the dolphin. It's just about the beach.
Yeah.
But because I'm a foreigner and my friend is also a foreigner, so I guess we stood out among the crowd. So we were waiting for the ferry because you have to take a 5-minute ferry to the island. So somebody came up to us and was like, hello, in English. And I was like, oh, what's going on?
Yeah.
Can I interview you?
Yeah.
So we were not the only people that they talked to. And then also by the afternoon, I think, as we were leaving, we saw more foreign people arriving too. So I showed you the segment because it was on TV the next morning.
I know. I recorded it. I'm going to go watch it at home when I go back. Yeah.
Yeah. I can put some screenshots.
Yeah.
And then maybe put it on the Instagram.
Do it. Too. Yeah. It's your moment to shine. But that's not your first time being interviewed in Japan, is it?
Maybe not. I don't remember.
Yeah. Well, if you didn't know, Frankie's a star. It's definitely not her first time being on Japanese TV or in like media, She's a movie star.
I was a movie extra.
Yeah. So it was like really fun to see. Did they give you that spoiler alert, I don't know. Like, did they give you a GoPro to
no, it was
go underwater?
Mine.
And then did you give them the footage of that? How
did
they get
they asked me for the footage. I didn't have my laptop on me anyway, but I was also like, come on, like I'm not on Fuji TV's payroll. Like,
that's what I'm saying. Like, did you ask
4K footage?
That's crazy. Like, give me your footage. That's wild. That seems a little shady. I don't know if that.
Yeah,
but it's illegal, but like that seems very unprofessional in my opinion. Like asking a civilian for their GoPro footage.
Yeah,
like, I don't know, without money, right? You didn't get paid.
No. I mean, I didn't have to give it to them anyway, but she did record my like playback screen.
Oh, okay.
So that's what you saw.
Oh, okay.
On TV.
Well, she recorded it very well. I thought they gave you a camera to be like, hey, like record yourself snorkeling or something.
No, it was my GoPro that I bought.
That's insane. That's so funny. I mean, maybe them recording it from your screen makes it a little less unprofessional. I don't know.
I felt better about that.
It's like when you ask your friend to like take pictures from their phone and then you're like, hey, send me those later. Like that's like the vibe I'm getting from them. But interesting. Okay.
Yeah. But all of our moments on camera didn't make it into the final cut because they were because in the morning we were pretty much the only foreign people there until the afternoon.
Yeah.
But they, like when we were swimming, they're like, oh, can we film you guys enjoying the water? Like, what did you bring for lunch? Can we see what you brought for lunch?
Oh,
and then I had onigiri.
The whole day. Oh.
And they were like, oh, can we come back when you're eating your lunch? I was like, okay, I might eat in an hour.
Yeah.
See ya. Like, they took the ferry back with us, and then they also wanted to see where we stayed the night before. But the owner of the guest house wasn't in when we got back because we parked the car.
I see.
Still at the hotel, and then she was also messaging me on Instagram like, oh, did you go to any restaurant? Like, do you have any more footage or pictures you can send me? Can you take some videos on the ride home? And I was like, no. I sent her some pictures, but I'm not taking video footage of the car ride home. Sorry.
Maybe that's why they cut all your footage. They're like, no,
well, F you then.
Yeah, cut. Yeah, because that's so interesting because they basically followed you around all day, probably have so much footage of you. Yeah. I mean, that's how TV works in general, right? You film all this footage and then don't use everything. Yeah, what makes the final cut? Sometimes it's literally just a little snippet. And so.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But my friend was joking because, the ferry ferry arrives to like drop off the people who are coming to the island, and then of course anybody who wants to leave can get on and go back. So as we were leaving, we saw a lot of foreign people coming onto the island, and she was like, "Oh, fresh meat! Like maybe they'll they'll film them."
Yeah, maybe.
And they did. Yeah,
they did. Yeah, we saw in the interviews there was a
Sri Lankan family.
Sri Lankan family, Brazilian couple there, and then one of the interesting points that they mentioned was most of the foreigners there are foreigners who live in Japan.
Yeah,
right? None of them were tourists visiting.
I doubt it. Yeah,
yeah,
because it's not really a place a lot of Japanese people know either.
I had no idea what this place was, until you showed me this and you taught me about it. I wonder if like my husband even knows, maybe. So
yeah, ask him.
I would love to go back. I've never been there. I would love to go there.
Let's go next year.
I don't want to wait till next year.
I'm sorry.
But yeah.
But the ferry is only going until the end of the month.
No,
so
we'll paddle out there. We'll rent a surfboard or rent a stand-up paddle. We'll paddle out there. We can make it. I want to go. Looks really fun. And they called it what? Like the Hawaii of
Hokuriku.
Oh, is that what it was? Yeah. The Hawaii of Hokuriku. And I saw that and I was like, I'll be the judge of that, But to be honest, yeah, like it was very, very nice. The water was super clear, and just from what I saw in that footage, it gave really Hawaiian vibes, I guess.
But it is a tiny sandbar.
Yeah.
So beautiful.
How many people can fit there if there's no... Because it looks so small to her. That's why I asked if you needed a reservation or something.
Yeah. Okay.
I feel like it's probably going to get overcrowded at some point,
That's true.
With, social media and everything like that.
All these influencers posting about it.
I don't know. Our best gate-kept secret? I don't know. But anyway.
No, it's not easy to get there. I don't think it would be.
And
not going to be Kyoto.
That's true. Fukui's not really one of those places... I think even domestic tourists, go to.
Yeah, it's not the most popular destination.
Yeah, but... The more you know.
But it's a lovely prefecture. Good food.
I would love to go, yeah.
Echizen crab.
Oh, I love cheese. What, you said cheese and crab?
Echizen.
Echizen crab. I thought you said cheese and crab. I was like, random, but okay. I love cheese and I love crab. I'll go there.
I guess you could put cheese on it if you want.
Me just turning the word echizen like super country sounding.
Cheese and crab.
Cheese and crab. Okay. But I'll go there. I've never been to Fukui, so. On my list.
There you go.
Good.
Okay.
Yeah, but
anything going on with you in your life?
Speaking of tourism and stuff, my little sister is going to visit Japan next month. So early September, and she'll be here for just over a week. It's her first time to Japan. So I'm just very excited to show her around, and we'll probably do all the basic stuff, Dotonbori and Kyoto and all that stuff too.
USJ.
But, she wants to go to USJ because she wants to see the Mario and Donkey Kong area because it is very, Japan, not specific to Japan anymore. It exists at Universal Studios Hollywood now. At least the Mario area.
Mario part.
But she doesn't live anywhere near that park anyway, so it'll be
Is she in Tennessee or Hawaii?
Neither, actually. Oh. She lives currently in St. Louis with her fiance. So, I mean, where is St. Louis, Missouri? But, like, where in the U.S.?
Midwest,
not quite, so not quite, West Coast where she can go to, Universal Studios
it's like
and
middle
stuff
of
over
the
there.
Country,
I
think.
But, so it'll be her first
geography.
Me neither. It's the most American thing about us probably is like not knowing.
Stereotypical American.
Sorry. But, so I'm excited to show her around. And obviously it's going to be her first time meeting, my baby. That's the first niece in the family as well. So she'll meet her niece. It'll be very, very fun. Very excited to travel around after being cooped up in the house for like the last 6 months. So, that's my biggest update. But shall we move on to today's topic? Because it's kind of a big one. I'm very excited to get into.
Yeah. So recently I watched a video. The video is like 3 years old, but from a channel called Japanalysis, about the worst neighbor in Japan. One of the most hated people here.
Crazy.
She was a bad neighbor.
Yeah.
They nicknamed her Mrs. Noisy.
Yeah.
So do you want to do her little chant?
Hikoshi, Hikoshi, Sasato Hikoshi.
Shibakuzo!
I almost did that. I ain't gonna sleep because of y'all. Y'all ain't gonna sleep because of me. Sorry.
I mean, that's basically the English translation of it.
Yeah, so what does Hikoshi, Hikoshi, Sasato Hikoshi mean in English?
Move out or I'm gonna beat your ass.
She got straight to the point.
Yes. Her name was Miyoko Kawahara. She lived in Haeguri-cho in Nara Prefecture. And in I think it was like 1996 to the early 2000s for about 10 years or so, tormenting her neighbors by doing things like screaming and yelling, beating her futon on the balcony really loudly and screaming that hikoshi chant, blasting music at all hours.
And what kind of music was she blasting?
Like hip-hop and R&B.
Yeah.
She did become a meme because of the
didn't they call her like DJ
Miyoko?
Yeah. And like
apparently she had a good playlist.
Yeah, so. I was gonna say, like, if you're blasting hip-hop and R&B, if I was her neighbor, I'd be like, hey! But maybe for 10 years, sure. I'm sure it could get old.
24/7, 365 is not really... That would
not ideal, yeah.
What else did she do? She would honk the horn on her car for a long time, ring the doorbell over and over. There was one specific family that she was targeting, but of course this would affect the whole neighborhood. The noise level and stuff. So yeah, she would ring their doorbell again and again. She would kick their gate. She would prank call them just by like repeatedly calling, not saying anything. And yeah, it was like a decade of this.
That is so nuts. To have beef with your neighbors for a decade is crazy work.
But I mean, people don't really do this stuff out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere, right? So that's what I'm curious about is, was there a reason she did all of this? Was
she provoked? There's a lot of counter theories, kind of not fully in her defense, but just trying to figure out what drove her to this point, because it's not really a normal thing to do.
Yeah. Because there's like neighbors who are disruptive because maybe they are bored, or maybe they just, they're your upstairs neighbor and they walk too loudly or something like that.
Yeah, but, which happens a lot. We'll get into some of those stories.
Yeah, but to do this deliberate like mattress banging and everything is, I think there's a reason behind it, So,
well, some of those counter theories were that her husband and children, they might have had a terminal illness, so maybe she could have been stressed about that kind of stuff. Maybe her neighbors were not really sensitive to that. There was also talk about people heckling her, like throwing stones at her cars or calling her names and stuff.
Yeah, and wasn't there...
That's rude too, if it's true, And
wasn't there a theory maybe some of her neighbors were in some kind of religious cult?
Oh, yeah.
And they tried to get her to join, and then she rejected them, and then so they all just went against her, basically. There's all kinds of theories out there.
But that's just a theory.
Yeah.
So, also, I don't know if I mentioned this already, but obviously our entire episode is not about her, so we're just going over this very briefly.
Yeah.
But you should watch that Japanalysis
it's really interesting. And there's...
really good.
I think Frankie said there's a movie about her, too, if you want to watch the movie. I think it's just called Mrs. Noisy. We did not watch the movie.
Yeah, we found the trailer for it.
Yeah.
We watched the trailer. It looked a little bit cheesy, to be honest.
Yeah, but...
I mean, it's there if you want to go find it.
It's there if you want to check it out, yeah. But recommend that Japanalysis video for sure.
Yeah. Did that remind you of something? Another movie?
Oh, yes. So, have you seen... The English name, I believe, is Wall to Wall. Not the Chris Brown song, Wall to Wall. Cancelled!
Ew, Chris Brown. No.
But it's called Wall to Wall in English. And then I think the Korean title and maybe the Japanese title as well is like 84 meters squared.
Okay. But it's very different title.
Yeah, very different. I mean, because basically it's starring... Sorry, I don't know his name.
Chris
if you've
Brown?
seen... Yeah! Off! But have you seen Squid Game season 2 and 3? There's the character who... he's like a Marine, or he was pretending to be a Marine the whole time. Spoiler alert. That guy, he is the main star, and basically he's just like a salaryman office worker in Seoul, and he kind of saves up, or he buys a condo or a unit in... one of those newly built high-rise mansions. And so he has this status as like a homeowner, right? Because he bought the apartment, but all of his money just went into purchasing the apartment. So he lives very frugally. He doesn't use the gas or the water or anything. He lives his life with the lights off, like anything he can to save money, right? But every night he starts to notice this kind of drilling sound, like a construction sound almost. And it's kind of driving him crazy to the point where he goes to the unit above him and he says, hey, he finds notes on his door first where they're like, stop making noise. My kids are trying to study. And he's like, that's not me. So he tries to confront them, and he's confronting all of his neighbors. Like, I can hear this. And everyone is saying it's not them. And so the premise of the movie is them trying to find out who is doing it, or like the cause of the sound. And then it just turns into this huge thing about crypto and kind of
so random.
Well, because he wants to make money, right? Because he's so poor. So you have to watch it because it's still like it's very like high anxiety almost. Like you're kind of just there at the TV like, no! Like, crypto scams are involved and kind of like, I don't know how to word it in English, but like kind of architectural scams are involved too about, you know, purchasing buildings and then like getting kind of like jimenshi we talked about, like land swindling almost. Yeah, like I don't know. It's very fun. The ending is very just like not silly, but like mind F kind of like, oh my God, like what was all this for, you know? But anyway, it's on the premise of like bad neighbors and making noise and everything. So I highly recommend that. Movie.
All right. So we've got 2 more news-ish things before we get into the Reddit stories and then the listener stories and our own personal ones as well.
Yeah.
But this is a bizarre thing from last year.
Oh.
So there was a woman in Gifu Prefecture who was arrested for throwing raw eggs at her neighbor's house.
What was the reason? She probably had a reason. Okay.
So, let's go through the main points of this one.
All right. So a 53-year-old woman was arrested in Kawabe Town, Gifu Prefecture, for throwing raw eggs at a neighbor's house for 2 days.
Police said Kakamu has denied the allegation. However, police said surveillance camera footage showed her throwing the eggs from a window of her house.
Caught. The woman who lives in the house next to Kakamu told local media, at times it was about 20 eggs. I don't know why I have to live like this. I haven't done anything to her. She started throwing eggs into my balcony and garden around the beginning of December 2019, and it's been happening regularly since then.
In this economy?
In this economy, eggs? You know how much eggs cost?
They're not as expensive here as they are in the States, but...
What are they, like $9, $9 or $10 for a carton in the States? Depending what state you're from. Yeah. Here, they're like maybe 260 yen. Yeah, which is expensive for us,
like
okay?
$2-ish for 10 eggs.
And I know if you...
But it's more than it was before.
Yeah, way more than it was before. And reminder, we get paid in yen. In this economy, it's expensive for us. So if you are specifically making USD and you're like, $2, shut up. No.
Like it's different.
It's different, okay?
We make yen.
Yeah. And it's not as many eggs, too. It's like a carton 10. In the States is what, 12? And then for us,
here it's
10. Yeah. So, I don't know. It's the little things. But anyway, back to the egg thrower.
20 eggs.
Yeah.
The woman said Kakamu would dump trash on her property and call her an old hag.
Oh.
The 2 women have been neighbors for about 20 years.
Oh, so they've got this like 20-year beef going on. Dude, 20 years, and she's 53, right? When this story was covered. So in her 30s, she just started throwing eggs at this neighbor. I wonder if they're the same age,
too. Does she have like a chicken or something? Maybe she just has a lot of eggs.
How's she have all these eggs on deck? Like, I thought, again, not to, like defend, because I have like a really weak spot for the elderly sometimes. And when I say elderly, I mean like 70 to 80 years old, like, and up, right? Mm-hmm. And so I think like if this woman was in her 80s tossing eggs, I can't help but say something like, maybe she's bored. Where's her family? I don't know. Maybe she just
could have dementia or something.
Like has dementia or like wants to cause conflict because she's lonely. It like gives a reason for people to talk to her. Was going to be my defending point, but she's 50, like, and for 20 years, you know, like, so.
I mean, we don't know what's going on with her.
No, it could be mental illness, right? You know, so not trying to speak poorly of her on if that is the case, but that's crazy.
It's a very bizarre situation.
It's crazy because it's so long, and like I know as if you were that neighbor, you want to stand your ground, right? You don't want to move away because of this person, but also like to handle that for 20 years is like so long.
But if you own the house that you're living in, it would be so annoying to move.
That's true.
Just because of 20 eggs a day.
I mean, and like in the summer too, does it stink or like does it
bugs?
Get hot, like the yolk hardens and stuff? She got a power washer? Is she out there all the time? You know, how is she handling eggs? I've never heard of this story before, and it's very recent too. Interesting.
Just last summer. Okay, and the other story I wanted to bring up, this is not funny at all. This is a very serious one, so trigger warning, I guess, for murder.
Yes.
So in December 2022, a family of 3 was found slaughtered by their neighbor on Christmas morning.
The suspect, 40-year-old Jun Saito, was a near neighbor of the family of 3 found dead on December 25th. The victims were identified as William Ross Bishop Jr., a 69-year-old American, his wife Izumi, 68, and the couple's daughter, Megumi, 32. The cause of death for all of them was blunt force to the neck and hemorrhaging.
Yeah, so initially the suspect, he denied any involvement in the situation, but there was camera footage of him entering the house. And during a search of his home, police were able to find multiple blunt instruments, like a small axe and like other things that would cause that neck trauma.
Yeah.
Also, blood-soaked clothes and gloves were found in his house.
Police suspect Saito harbored a one-sided grudge against the Bishop family. He had been arrested 3 times before on suspicion of damaging the couple's car and other properties.
Yeah. So he was arrested. He underwent psychiatric evaluation, and he was indicted for first-degree murder in December of the following year, so 2023. But I couldn't find any details about his sentencing.
Yeah.
So
I didn't even know this story existed. Yeah.
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 This was not talked about enough. I heard nothing about this.
I heard
my friend told me about it. That's why I looked it up.
I was going to say, how did you know about it? Because I don't recall seeing anything on the news. And like, I get that I miss a lot of the news because the news is in Japanese. I do understand Japanese, but I'm not watching it every day or as much as I should, to be honest. But I didn't know this case involved an American man. So I would hope that it would cover
like international news or something.
I was thinking like, why didn't they cover it at least, in American media and stuff too? I had no idea about this at all. That's crazy. Do you think this was motivated by racism or discrimination against the family, considering, it was an interracial couple and all that? I'm just trying to make sense of it. I don't know.
Yeah. Because, he obviously had a grudge against the family.
Yeah.
But it's also kind of shocking that he had already been arrested 3 times for doing stuff to this family. Yeah. So, my gosh, like these things are never taken seriously until it's too late.
And it's so scary because it's like a movie. I've never, I don't know, in my time in Japan that I can recall seeing something as intense, or it's almost kind of, I don't know if you want to call it symbolic, but on Christmas morning, this family is just slaughtered.
That's felt really intentional.
Yeah, it felt very intentional. He probably knew they'd be together because
celebrating Christmas.
Because the daughter is old enough, maybe
32,
she's moved out
true.
or something, but it seemed very intentional and planned for this time. And so, I'm glad he's behind bars because that is way too, I don't know, awful.
Yeah, but I'm so curious how much time he would be serving. So if anybody knows, let us know. I did not super extensively, but my search in English and Japanese didn't bring up anything details about that.
Yeah.
Aside from just the fact that he was indicted for first-degree murder.
Where was this case again?
Saitama.
Okay. I wonder if, correct me if I'm wrong, you know how you can kind of look up criminal records or criminal cases in the US depending on the state and stuff?
I don't know if you can do that here.
Right? Like if we did our search for more Saitama criminal cases, would it come up? I'm not too sure what kind of search method there is for that, but I want to know more because that's too sad.
Very tragic.
Yes. But we will move on to other crazy stories from
now
Nightmare
on,
Neighbors.
That's the most sad, tragic thing we're going to talk about today. The rest of them will be light, so...
no, I have a really intense one,
Never mind.
too.
Never mind.
Yeah, we do have, we asked for submissions, right, on social media. If anyone had any crazy neighbor stories.
I haven't seen this story yet, so I don't know what I'm in for.
It is a bit intense. It's not as intense as this particular one. It doesn't involve murder or anything like that.
Okay, that's good.
But it does talk about death of a neighbor. So it's not on the lines of, I had a crazy neighbor or anything like that. It was more just a crazy situation involving a neighbor. And so I'll save it for closer to the end after we have our chit chat, if that's fine.
Then we'll bring up a trigger warning or whatever before we get to that specific story.
Yeah.
But before that, I just wanted to chat a little bit about apartments here in general.
Okay.
Because there's apaato, apartment, versus manshon, mansion.
Yeah.
So do you know what's the difference?
I want to say a manshon is kind of more like a condo. It just sounds more fancy. I personally don't know the specific difference. I just always associate manshon is kind of fancier in the sense maybe it's got a lobby and like a security kind of system. And then apartment is just buildings, like regular apartment buildings. But I don't know. Is there a clear definition?
I think it's in the materials because usually manshon is reinforced concrete. So it's usually a bit more sturdy compared to apaato, which are
wood,
just wooden, maybe steel framing, but wooden. So those will definitely have those notoriously thin walls where you can hear everything your neighbor's doing, cutting vegetables, sneezing, farting, flushing the toilet.
The farting, it was me. Me living next to Frankie, just farting the whole time. Have you ever lived in a apaato, like a wooden built complex before?
I think, where I lived in Tokyo, it was like that. But I was also in the corner apartment, so there was only noise coming from one side.
I see. Yeah.
But at that time, the person next to me, he was a host. So he would come home. He'd come home very late at night.
I see.
4, 5, 6 a.m.
Okay, sorry.
What did you think I was getting?
Like, if you were a watcher of this podcast,
he was my host. My favorite host.
You could just see like the gears in my head turning. I was trying to figure out what you meant. So like he was a host. So I thought you meant he like hosted a lot of parties. He had a lot of guests to his He had a lot of guests. So he was a natural host. But now I understand you mean the Japanese like
the profession.
Okay. Sorry. I was like there like with a blank face. Probably like, huh?
At a host club.
Okay. He was a host. Yeah. Oh, okay.
But that industry, the people work at nighttime, so they'll come home the really early morning hours, so 4, 5, 6 a.m. But he would usually come back with friends or with girls. So I would be woken up a lot. Yeah. So I would have to do that really annoying thing of like
knocking on the
wall. But usually like he would quiet down after that, so it never escalated at all. But
that's good. That's not too bad.
But there was, I would hear like sexy times.
You would hear activities happening.
But there was also one time where he was, I don't know, his girlfriend, whoever was there, they were fighting. And then she was sobbing so loudly. I feel so bad for you, but also like it's 5 a.m. and I'm trying to sleep.
Yeah, I'm going to make some theories just because if he is a host, what if it would like to him, it was like a client, and for her, like she totally thought they were in a relationship or something. And I don't know, I'm just like making lore to this guy because I'm nosy.
I guess we'll never know.
But yeah, interesting. I have not had a neighbor like that, thankfully, in like the apartment complex I lived in that had wood. But I'll tell it a little bit later in the episode. But I have a crazy story about a neighbor too. But
okay, so still on the topic of the building materials.
Yes.
So when the last time I was searching for an apartment, sometimes even if the building is made of reinforced concrete, it still might be wooden, in between the apartments. Yeah, it really depends. And when you're viewing, if you go to the real estate office and then you're viewing places, of course you don't really know the full situation of if there's going to be noise, because a lot of it happens, when people get home from work.
Yeah, that's true.
But when I was, because I'm very, very sound sensitive, so the only type of apartments I was looking for, my non-negotiables, were top floor corner.
Oh, okay.
That was it. So that would reduce the sound as much as possible.
Yeah.
So yeah, I didn't have that many options, but non-negotiables. So if you're also sound sensitive, I recommend looking for, a manshon that's reinforced concrete, top floor corner.
Do those units cost more rent-wise?
Sometimes, yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
Well, good to know.
Exactly.
Okay,
and then just some general etiquette.
Yeah.
If you live in an apartment building here, don't play loud music or TV, especially late at night. You don't want to be vacuuming or doing any kind of loud cleaning
like
late
laundry.
At night.
Yeah, the washing machine and everything like that.
But it really depends how thin your walls are.
Yeah. You can kind of spot that too, depending on what rental agencies or what, fudosan, real estate companies you're into. Sometimes it'll say in the contract, or sometimes it says it in the what do you call it? Like the building units, like rules or whatever. They have like a bulletin board or somewhere public for you to see. And it'll say stuff like no washing your laundry after 8 p.m. or whatever, because that noise will just disrupt the neighbors. And that's how thin the walls are here.
Yeah.
So I've stayed in an apartment like that before. Yeah. And it's really, it's sometimes like such a hassle because we have lives, you know, like you don't get home from work after a certain time. Maybe you go to the gym and then the only time you can do laundry or things like that is in the evening. And I'm not a morning person or trying to do that early in the morning. Yeah. So it does get really inconvenient sometimes to follow those rules.
Yeah.
But please do.
Something to be mindful of.
Yeah.
So a lot of the stories that we're going to get to today, they have to do with noise complaints. Yeah. But a lot of it is like shikatanai, like it can't be helped because of the thin walls. Yeah. So it's not always malicious. Sometimes it is. Yeah. But it's generally advised not to confront people directly. So, I mean, the first step would be to like knock on the wall, see if that could help a little bit. Yeah. But otherwise, you got to maybe call management.
Yeah. Call the landlord is usually the first step a lot of people take here.
Yeah. And then if it keeps getting worse, you could call the police too. And they're obligated to, you know, take a visit and knock on the person's door and be like, hey, what's going on?
That's interesting you bring that up. I wonder if it's a cultural thing because to kind of hint at my story, it was about like a noisy neighbor I had. And I would post on my stories a lot on Instagram about the noise they were making.
Did they watch it?
Not showing them, of course, but just, you know, me with my ear against the wall. But a lot of my Japanese friends on Insta would, you know, reply to those stories saying, contact the landlord. Like 100% everyone told me to contact the landlord versus all of my friends in the States said to call the police.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. I thought you were going to say they said like bang on the door and demand shut up.
Like kind of like confront them a little bit. So it was kind of a interesting cultural difference, if that's what you want to call it. Yeah. A lot of the Americans were very like quick to bring in the police in those situations, but maybe you'll see why when I get to this story. But anyway,
so usually in these cases of noise complaints, like it doesn't have much of an effect a lot of times. Like there's not really consequences for the person besides being told like, please be quiet. Yeah. And even in extreme cases, it does take a long time for somebody to get evicted. Yeah. Even with, you remember Saikyo-chan?
Yeah, we talked about her in an episode a while back. Yeah.
With like gomi yashiki, like hoarder houses. And hoarding,
bugs even. I'm pretty sure she's still in that space. I haven't.
Did she move? Did you see the video I sent you? She did get evicted.
Oh! Well then, no. Sorry.
Look at your TikTok.
Sorry. I gotta do my friend homework. I'm so backed up on all my TikToks you send me. Sorry.
Yeah. It does seem like she did get evicted, but it's been like years in this apartment, right? Yeah.
And I feel like she wouldn't have if she wasn't posting on social media and stuff.
True.
I feel like she just got caught, basically. Yeah. Oh, okay.
And just another thing. So you might be wondering, do you have to introduce yourself to your neighbors? Yeah. And I would say, unless you're going to be living somewhere long term, or if it's a place that you own, for example, or if you are renting or buying a house in a residential area, then in that case, you could introduce yourself to your neighbors. And if you do, you would bring a small gift, like omiyage, souvenir type snack or something, just to, introduce yourself. Like, hey, I'm here now.
Have you ever done this?
Yes, I have.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Sasuga? Okay.
Yeah. I have experience.
I personally have not.
Not in an apartment, in a house.
Oh, okay. I have not. And this is when I first moved to Japan. Fun fact, I don't know if they still do this. I came to Japan in 2017 on the JET program. Yeah. And through JET, you are offered like free Japanese courses. And they're just online. They're little videos you can watch. And a lot of them are about like cultural lessons in Japan too. And one of those lessons was greeting your neighbors and making sure you greet your neighbors. And they give you a little script to follow, and they show
you. But you were in the inaka.
Yeah. And so,
countryside things.
That's where I was getting at. And they tell you to bring a gift. And I feel like they really emphasize doing that because all jets, besides Tokyo jets, basically, get sent to the inaka, the really rural countryside here in Japan. And people still do that here. You know, it's very like, and because you are, for the most part, the only foreigner in that town, you should start off on a good foot and introduce yourself and have the neighbors know who you are, you know, so you're not just this random foreigner one day coming into the town. But I was going to say it's probably still very prominent in the inaka because here in Osaka City, I live in like a 10-floor manshon. And sometimes we'll you know, you pass people like in the elevator coming home or whatever.
They say hello?
No one like acknowledges you ever. Maybe it's just my building, but I don't know, like for me, maybe it's a Hawaii thing. I don't know. But if you see your neighbor or if you see people coming in and out of the building or the elevator, you're like, hey, how's it?
Hi.
Like, what's up? Hi, how are you doing? Or hello, konnichiwa, you know, like, hello.
Hello. How
are you?
My name is.
And so, and like, I've come into the building the same time as other people coming home, and they'll like avoid eye contact, or sometimes I'll head towards the elevator and I'm, you know, kind of waiting for them to come in. So we ride up together and they're intentionally kind of lurking in the lobby or pretending to check their mail for forever so they don't have to ride the elevator with you. Maybe I'm just getting like gaijin seated elevator version.
Stink?
Yeah, maybe I just stink, or maybe I don't know. I don't think like I wouldn't assume they just see me and they're like, oh, foreigner, I don't want to like ride the elevator with them. I don't think it's that at all. I think like
they just don't feel like chatting.
Yeah, it's just city life things. Like nobody really takes the time to get to know each other in these kind of manshon situations because I don't know. But that's my experience. So for me, I've never even when I was living in the inaka, because everyone who lived in that apartment complex as me were other Jets for the most part. Okay. So like we kind of knew each other. Yeah. But even when I moved into a city, I've never had to do this thing. So just saying it's not mandatory in all situations. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, where I live now, so I'm renting a house in a suburban area of Osaka Prefecture, but not Osaka City.
Right.
Yeah. So I have, you know, introduced to the neighbors. And then also when we take out the garbage and stuff, like we say good morning and hello.
I see.
Not like long conversations or anything, but just like
you like greet each other, right? And aren't you on like, I don't know what the word is in Japanese, but kind of like a HOA, like a house owners association. I know even though you are renting, you're kind of a part of this like community kind of thing.
If you rent a house, you're kind of forced into those.
Yeah.
Like they say for, you know, taking out your garbage and stuff, maybe you have a, like, what do you call it? Not a basket, but like some kind of box that you put the garbage in, or maybe sometimes it's a net. Yeah. So they say that like, oh, if you want to put your garbage here, you got to pay the 3,000 yen like yearly fee for the neighborhood association or something. Yeah, okay.
Oh no.
To keep the peace, we'll do it. Okay.
Sure. I mean, you see so many Reddit stories usually involving like trash, and you know, my neighbors like yelled at me for throwing the trash away wrong or this and that. And so, you know what? If paying 3,000 yen keeps the peace, then sure, I'd pay it too.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
And humble brag, but I've never had anybody confront me about sorting my trash wrong.
Oh, really? I have. I have. Okay.
I said because it's such a common thing. So
No, one time. This is me like doing. I don't recommend this. Like, do as I say, not as I do. Yeah. But I did kind of the gaijin smash thing where like, I'm just not going to follow this one rule one time. But I was moving out of...
Caught.
Yeah, I got caught like bad. I was moving out of my apartment. This was more in the city back in Chiba when I was living there. And I was moving. This is my transition from Chiba to Osaka. So there was a lot of garbage I was throwing away, just a lot of things I was getting rid of in general. And I did my best to sell things on Jimoti or like, you know, get rid of things the right way. But there was one thing I just could not sell in time for like my move out day. Okay. And I could have it's called like sodai gomi, so large trash. Yep. I had a standing mirror, and like the right way is, you know, you buy, it's like a sticker. So maybe 500 yen. You're supposed to put it on your mirror and you're supposed to register.
Schedule it,
like schedule a pickup day for the trash people to come and get it. It's not even a big deal. I just like at the time couldn't be bothered to do it. Okay. And so I like tried to sneak like from my apartment, like carry that mirror and sneak it like into the trash space because it was like a large garbage area for the manshon I was living in. And I like tried to put it, I don't know, just like somewhere to where someone would pick it up. I just like threw it out in a place it did not belong. And then like later that day, this is like in the daylight, by the way, I wasn't like sneaky at night or anything. Later in the day, the like landlord or building manager or whatever like knocks on my door and he's like, you threw away a mirror, like just accusing me right away.
Were there cameras?
Yes. And so like I got upset because he didn't like ask me, just like he was always such a grumpy guy from like the day I moved in. Like
he didn't say, did you do this?
Like,
I know
such
you
a
did.
sour attitude, just like the biggest a-hole guy ever. And so he already like pissed me off a lot. And so for him to like, and I was like at the end of my rope, I'm moving out of this place. I hated living there, whatever. And for him to knock on my door and just, even though I did do it, just for him to like accuse me of it and just saying like, hey, did you do this? I was like, no. Like I was like lying out of my ass, like so mad already. And I was just like, no. And he's like, come, I need to show you something. We go downstairs. I'm on the security camera. I'm on the security footage.
Walk
like
of shame.
Yeah. And then he's like, take that back up to your place. He's like, you can't leave this here, so you need to like get rid of this like properly. And then like, what can I do at that point? I'm just like a foreigner in Japan. Like I'm not trying to get arrested, whatever. So I just like, shamefully carried it back to my place. But anyway, do as I say, not as I do. Don't do that. But that was kind of me being the bad neighbor in this situation. But I don't do that stuff anymore, I promise.
Yeah. I think for the most part, I mean, aside from the host guy, it's not like he was mean or anything. He was a social dude, I guess. But aside from him, like I've had really nice neighbors.
Okay,
I've been blessed in that sense.
Yeah, good.
In that same Tokyo apartment, living next to the host guy, the landlord of the building, like she would come by sometimes to check out the outside of the building. And she noticed that I had plants on my balcony. And then she brought me all these succulents, which I still have today.
Oh my God. Okay, that's really nice. That's really thoughtful.
Yeah.
So it's not all horrible then. You know?
There's some good neighbors too. Yeah. And also so I'm renting a house right now, but before that I was living in an apartment by myself before I moved in with my now husband. But yeah, the apartment that I had. So when I first moved in there, since it was an apartment, I didn't like go door to door introducing myself to people. But there was an older lady who lived in the floor below me.
Okay.
And I saw her when I was taking out the garbage one time, and she was like, oh, like you must be new here. And like, if you have any questions about anything, like feel free to ask me.
Okay. Nice.
And then I was like, oh, thanks so much. And also, you know, if I'm making noise or something because I live above you, like let me know. And she was like, oh, no worries. It's fine.
Okay.
So
that's nice. I'm glad you had overall positive experiences living here.
Yeah. I mean, could be jinxing myself when I move next year. I could be.
True.
I could have a Mrs. Noisy.
A Mrs. Noisy, yeah, because she was in more of like a residential area like that, yeah. Well, I do not have those kinds of experiences. This is the same apartment that I had the mirror incident in, but I moved there in 2020, and I lived here for 2 years, so 2020 to 2022.
Still Chiba?
Still Chiba, yeah. This is kind of a get what you pay for situation almost, but it was like the most boro, like run down manshon.
The haunted
area.
one?
It was like, it looked haunted, like straight up. The inside of my unit, like the apartment itself, I kept it clean. It looked clean, like your average, you know, apartment in Japan. Yeah. The outside truly looked haunted. And this building was built in the 70s, so it's old, but it just also wasn't maintained on the outside. So like, scary to walk around at night almost. But anyway, the unit right next door to me, from the moment I moved in, and not saying because I moved in they started doing this, they've probably been doing it for a long time, would scream at the top of her lungs every night around the same time from like 8 to 10 p.m.
Was it a couple? Who was she screaming at?
I don't know. Like,
okay.
But it wasn't a couple, at least it wasn't a hetero couple. I don't know. I never heard a man's voice. It was always just a woman screaming, but she was never saying like words as if it was an argument. So I know she's not arguing with anyone. She's just literally screaming. And sometimes she would say yada, like no, don't. And like yada, like forever. Should I play the video into the speaker?
Yes,
like,
let's do it.
I would post these on my stories because it was just so scary and like interesting at the time. Hang on, I gotta find like which video Okay, 1 second. Here's what it sounds like. Okay.
So she lived alone from what you
I gather. Oh, sorry. Where's another one? You know what I mean? So she's screaming. My theory, after all of this, I want to just say it's mental illness, and she's probably screaming at herself. A lot of people, because I would post these on my stories, and a lot of people would, you know, ask, like, is she playing a video game and getting frustrated? Is she arguing with someone? Is this DV, like domestic abuse? Is it like all kinds of theories? And only one time when I was leaving for work in the morning, exiting my unit, the person, I don't know if she's the only person living there, but she also was leaving her apartment. And I kind of did the, like, you know, I bobbed my head, I said konnichiwa, greeted her, and I kind of did the scan to see if she had any bruises on her, if she, you know, just looked okay in general. She was wearing like long sleeve shirt and skirt, so I couldn't see anything if she did have any bruising, but she was also very, very skinny, and that doesn't have to do with anything, but like, I don't know, maybe she was just living alone. So my theory is it's her and she is just screaming at herself, or maybe she has a daughter, like she is a mother, because she was like in her 40s-ish, and she is a mother who living with maybe her hikikomori daughter or daughter who has mental illness, and they just live together. And because thankfully I didn't hear anyone, like I never heard any shuffling or other form of altercation, but it was just that kind of screaming every night for as long as I lived there. So that was kind of my neighbor from hell story. A police officer did knock on my door one night, and they said they got a noise complaint, and they were kind of looking for
who it was.
Yeah, well, they're very vague about it, because I think maybe someone reported it as DV, and so when they saw me, you know, a young woman open the door, if you're being in that situation, I'm sure officers are trained to not, you know, ask you that, because maybe the abuser is there trying to, you know, tell you to say something else, right?
Yeah.
So the officer to me was like, hey, we're just like going around checking in on everybody. Is everybody here okay? Kind of like, are you okay? Asking me. And I said, I'm fine. And then I kind of pointed to the unit next to me, like, I'm okay, but maybe you want to check on them next door. And then the situation resolved that night, but it never resolved for the rest of the time I lived there. But it was intense. I don't know what it is about screaming people here. I also had a neighbor in Tokyo that would like scream her lungs out too. Maybe it's me. But anyway.
So now let's get into a few Reddit stories.
Yes.
So there's only, I think, three or four of them. Because a lot of them were about noise complaints, which, as we said, is, you know, shoganai. Can be helped with the thing malls. But this one is called A Crazy Interaction Happened When I Confronted Neighbor About Burning Trash. Oh. What to do? Would you like to read this one?
Sure. This was posted 2 years ago. They said, so I posted a week or so ago, neighbor burns trash the same time I hang the kids' laundry. We live in the inaka, countryside, so police can't really help. So when I went and knocked on their door, the grandma came out and she was nice, even spoke some English, explained the situation and thought we were good. Then the dad comes out. Total Yankee, and my Japanese is all right, but his is so fast and crazy. Got the wife though, so not a problem. Yankee is like, what would you call them? Like not a delinquent, but kind of like rough or rough, kind of rough Japanese person. Okay. Anyway, basically we asked them to stop burning trash at night because we are hanging laundry. They have a small kid, so they should understand. Grandma, who owns the home, understands and says sorry. Dad, he says he will kill our cat and that he can't park his car with my car on the street. From here on, things got heated. First of all, I said, I'll just call the cops. I am allowed to park there. I went to driving school. I know the laws, but threatening to kill my cat? Come on, bruh. I should report this to the police tomorrow, right?
Yeah. But to be honest, I don't think they would do anything besides saying whether or not you can park there. Yeah. But the stuff with the cat, I don't think they would do.
That's really scary.
Anything.
Top comment just says, keep your cat indoors. He sounds like a wackadoodle.
Who would leave poison out. Which is a thing. Did you know that?
Yeah, because that happened to my cat when I was a kid. Yeah, I'm pretty sure, because she was an outdoor cat, very well behaved, always knew when to come home, where home was. And one day we found her just dead on the street, very stiff and stuff. And we had a neighbor who kind of very clearly, I think, did not like her hanging around the street. And maybe she went into his yard one too many times.
Pooped in his yard?
Something, I don't know. But because when we checked her out, I think she died of rat poison. Yeah. So I think that neighbor left it out. So just Heads up, watch out for your animals and stuff. Yeah.
That is a thing that commonly happens in Japan too.
Yeah.
When I volunteered at the Japan Cat Network, they were talking about that, and the cats that they adopt out or have people foster, they tell you, like, don't let the cat outside. They need to be indoor cats because people could leave out food that has poison.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate. Like, just, I don't know, call a shelter like a normal person. I don't know, like, what leads you to just kill animals like that, like poison cats.
Yeah, but also the, like, animal abuse is not taken very seriously here, which is another issue.
Yeah, and all shelters here aren't good shelters, I should also point out, here in Japan, because a lot of them are kill shelters.
Japan Cat Network is a good one, though.
Yes. Okay, next story.
Okay. All right, the next one is from r/Japan Life 1 year ago, titled Another Neighbor Issue. Apologies in advance for being yet another complaint about difficult neighbors in Japan. I live in a Leo Palace in Yamanashi Prefecture, so for context, Leo Palace is kind of notorious for being tiny, cheap,
and like mostly foreigners live in there, or not all, but like tend to live in there because of the budget-friendly price of them.
Yeah, cheap price and cheap materials.
Yeah.
In Yamanashi Prefecture, semi-inaka area, not a lot around. Very beautiful place, but from literally a few hours of having moved into my apartment, I've had issues with the neighbor below. Mostly this consists of loud TV and music all night long, for which a complaint to management and decent earplugs seem to have mostly alleviated. He still plays it all day, very loudly, but daytime hours and all that, I don't mind too much. The worst issue is that it seems whenever I do anything in my apartment, such as walking normally, any cleaning, moving things, occasionally accidentally dropping something, this neighbor is punching the ceiling, seemingly with all his might. I mean,
I can just picture him.
It's a fist pumping.
Okay.
I mean, the whole unit shakes when he does it. I'm sure he's damaging that ceiling. I try to be mindful of my own noise and just do things carefully, but realistically, there's only so much you can do. It's such an aggressive sound that he just comes across as unhinged, especially with the low level of noise he's reacting to. I empathize with him that these units are not well built and sound travels significantly, but I can't live like some completely silent monk, especially in daylight hours. Just now, he punched the ceiling twice because I opened and closed a shelf. This time, I knocked back as I was sick of it. I'm just hoping he's not a complete psycho who will work himself up to violence or confrontation. He doesn't seem normal, to say the least.
Any advice? Things I've already tried. Talking to him directly, he won't answer the door, getting a rug for the floor, being mindful of my noise and actions without literally just hiding in my bed all day. My inclination right now is to simply ignore him as best as I can and maybe bang back if he's going at it. Edit. I put another complaint in, which the neighbor should receive next week sometime. My company has offered to help me move out to another nearby Leo Palace. I mean, I could have crazy neighbors there too, but I really doubt they'll be as bad as this guy. Okay. I just like because punching the air is like a phrase we say, right? It's like, he's like literally punching the air right now, and this guy's literally punching like the ceiling. That's crazy. Yeah.
Well, at least they moved.
I feel like... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
There was just one comment I wanted to read and the reply to that. So somebody suggested, sit on the wooden floor with your butt pressed against the floor and let rip a loud fart. It will travel really well and piss him off even more.
That's so funny.
And then someone replied, easy there, it's Leo Palace. Guy probably wants a home that's still standing.
Yeah. I feel like this happens quite a lot, though, and because in one of our submissions, which I'll read in a second, they also mentioned, like, the neighbors are very noisy themselves, but when it comes to them doing something, like, even as quietly as they can, they complain about it right away, so I don't know.
Yeah, that seems like a pretty common occurrence.
Yeah. I don't know what people's issue is here.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Thankfully, you've never had to do with that. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. The next story is a little bit different. It's called Extremely Neighbors. Extreme Dirty Neighbor Advice.
Okay. I've seen some threads on this, but not sure how to proceed overall. I've just contacted my apartment contract manager and informed them I think we should contact the building manager. I'm living in Tokyo, Minato-ku. Basically, leaving for work last week. Have never seen the neighbor before. If they opened their door previously and saw me waiting at the elevator, they would immediately slam the door closed. Sounds familiar to me. This is the first or second time they've tried to speak to me. It was mostly incoherent mumbling. I speak a bit of Japanese, but it had that ji-chan, old man, mumble to it. The bigger concern is that he was standing on trash. Not like a bit of trash, like the entire floor was trash. Is there anything I should be doing besides contacting the building manager? Police? My concern is his life will bleed into mine. I'm a pretty clean guy, and now that I've seen his place, he made me a bit anxious. My key concern is his apartment getting a bug or cockroach infestation and that becoming my problem. I don't care if his life is dirty, that's his choice. Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, the comments are, saying go call building management or whatever, but again, I don't think really much can be done in that case. Like, they might talk to him about it, but same with the Saikyo-chan thing. It'd be hard for him to get evicted because of that.
Yeah, like, it's very hard for people to get evicted here, especially if you pay your bills. Saikyo-chan wasn't paying bills or anything, apparently. So. But it sounds like this guy just pays his bills, and as long as he's quiet, unfortunately, a lot of landlords don't really do anything about it. Or even if they're not quiet, it sounds like a lot of action doesn't really get taken. So
yeah, I mean, it's sad that person is living like that, but not much can be done.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get in.
Sorry.
Whoa.
Excuse me.
The couch is squeaky.
Yeah.
We're trying to be mindful of it, but
sorry. I needed to change my position. My leg was falling asleep. Okay. Sorry. Excuse me. Okay.
Okay. So let's get into some of the submissions that we got.
We asked our followers, if you have any crazy neighbor stories, and we got a few lighthearted ones, and then we got a couple of intense ones.
Yep.
So I'll just start with the ones I got for now. One lighthearted, if you want to call it. It was
kinda, yeah.
They said, the neighbor from hell stole my trash bag and left my trash on the ground, and it's full of fleas. For context, we have to use specific city mandated trash bags in the area. So it seems like the person who stole my bag couldn't be bothered to get their own, basically. So, yeah.
Yeah. Could you imagine? Like, they just opened their trash bag, dumped it on the ground,
and then put their own trash in there. Like, I don't understand the logic of that one, but that sounds, meiwaku as hell.
Yeah. But this person has a cat, so I guess their cat had fleas.
Oh,
how's that going?
Yeah, that explains the fleas then. Yeah. I don't know. Another one we have, we got a nice email from someone. Would you like to read?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know what counts as bad neighbors, but I have a story that's still ongoing. Some months ago, the neighbors next to me filed a complaint to the landlord that I was being too loud in my apartment. I don't think I did anything in particular to be loud, but ever since then, I've tried to be more aware of not making any loud noises, especially in the late evenings. The problem is that these neighbors have been knocking on the door next to me to shush me whenever I make any sound. They even complained to the landlord about me opening and closing the door to my toilet too loud.
Okay.
When I did some dance steps, I do ballet, in my apartment at like 5 p.m. in the evening, I heard them in their apartment starting to imitate my steps.
Yeah, I just read that and I was like, huh? Crazy.
I first thought it was a coincidence, but when I stopped and listened again, they did the exact same steps as I did.
Scary. Sorry for laughing. We're just scared.
That's kind of bizarre.
Yeah.
Okay. This is going so far that I'm starting to feel really uncomfortable in my apartment, feeling like I'm being watched and listened to whatever I do.
Yeah. That's really scary.
It's kind of creeping me out, and every time I leave my apartment, I first have to look out the peephole to see that I will not leave my apartment at the same time as they leave theirs. I also want to add that the people living in that apartment, a couple, are not directly quiet themselves. They're playing loud music often and still have the guts to complain about me. I'm too much of a coward to make any complaint or do something about this. I just wanted to share this story.
Yeah.
We'll complain to management.
Yeah.
You don't have to confront them, though.
Contact, like, we've been exchanging emails about this, and I said, like, hey, especially because you're scared about them following you and stuff, it might be a good...
You want me to knock on their door?
Yeah. Like,
where do you live?
That's kind of scary. It might be good to bring this up to your landlord. I know you said you're not a really confrontational person, but they said they'll keep us updated. So, yeah, we look forward to hearing an update on this one, but yeah, kind of scary. And of course, it's a noise complaint one. That's kind of the most common one here in Japan. Yeah. I do have a quick story about my friend. They were living in, a basic apartment complex too. And they had a pet fish. So obviously you have a fish tank. And there was mold like going throughout the apartment, just from way back, probably. Buildings here are so old. Like, it probably just had this mold. And
Mold's hard to get rid of.
Yeah. And one of the tenants there, a Japanese tenant, was complaining to the landlord saying it's because my friend has that fish tank that caused the mold throughout the whole building. Mind you, I don't think the mold was in my friend's unit. Mm-hmm. It was like in the downstairs unit where that person was complaining. But they're like, it's the fish tank. It's all that water causing the mold or something. They just wanted, you know, they were racist. They just wanted to blame it on the foreigner, of course. Oh, man. But yeah.
Xenophobic people.
Yes.
Okay, I got a couple Instagram submissions. So somebody said, I moved in and gave obligatory cookies to my neighbor. That little moving in gift. Greeting, yeah. And the first thing they said was, okay, bin day isn't here. You don't throw your shit here. It's on the other side. Got it? And a few months later, when I brought my plants out for some sun, she said, lady, you can't put your plants here or I'll be reporting you to the council. And the
council? Is this the Hunger Games?
The homeowners association. I don't know.
The council voted off the island. Okay.
And the neighbor next to her is doing exactly what I'm doing. Definitely reduced the details, but living next to this old woman is not great.
Yeah. Yeah.
What happened to hello? How are you? My name is.
Reporting you to the council is so funny. I know what you mean. It just sounds intense. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, man. I hope, I don't know, she moves away soon. Or did they move away or anything? Was that resolved?
No, I think they're still there.
Oh, no. You have any other stories?
Do I have another one? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that was it. Because the other one I have is in the wholesome category, which we can end with.
Okay. I have a couple.
Oh, wait. I have one from memory, too.
Okay. You can say yours, yeah.
Okay, so one of my friends, she doesn't live in Japan anymore, but she was living in Osaka, and the last place she lived, there was someone in the building who took it upon himself to be the building manager. Like, he was not the landlord. He was just like, I'm gonna, go through everybody's trash and make sure it's all being sorted properly and that kind of stuff. Yeah. And like, he would go through all of her trash bags and be like, why are you throwing this away? And she said he had even gone through bags where she had like sanitary products, like period pads and stuff. So then she just started throwing her trash away like in small bags, or like
around the city.
Yeah. She was uncomfortable throwing it away in that building because he was gonna open it.
Ew, okay, Joe Goldberg. Like, what the hell?
Ew,
nasty. Ew. Okay. Ew. You ready for mine?
Oh gosh. Okay.
I got a couple interesting ones. So.
Is this the trigger warning one?
No, not yet.
Okay.
It'll be next, I believe.
Okay.
Okay. So this one it was just way more intense than than I was expecting. I guess I know these people personally, so I'm going to be changing names.
Okay.
To Mike and Tim. Let's just call these two people in this situation Mike and Tim.
Okay.
So this is Mike, neighbor had an extreme beef with Tim, who he thought was me, and vandalized my car.
Oh.
And I said, what? I'm going to need more details about this. I'm very invested. And so they said, this old guy always smoked inside the building, which made Tim unreasonably mad, where he was always yelling at this guy whenever he saw him and spit at him and stuff. This is normal Tim behavior, apparently. Okay,
Tim.
So eventually they started escalating, and Tim egged his door, filled his mailbox with garbage, filled his door lock with glue.
Damn.
Then this guy got back at him, Tim, by slashing the seat on his bike, leaving cigs all over his doorstep, etc. At some point, the guy thought that my car was Tim's for some reason. I don't know why, but he was hella racist, though. Then he started putting his cigarettes out on my car for a while. Then at some point...
Like on the hood of the car?
I think so, just around the car, I don't know. Then at some point, he started keying it. I reported it to my school, because they were working at schools. I reported it to my school, who went with me to report it to the cops. The guy basically came just short of admitting it, but said he thought my car belonged to Tim. So they let him slide. The landlord was then forced by the cops to install a security camera, which ironically only shows my car, which was on a weird side of the building with only one parking spot. So that was like some crazy neighborhood beef ever.
Yeah, that's just but like back and forth, petty revenge.
Well, keying your car is pretty intense. I mean, because you're not involved in this beef, right? So it really sucks that the neighbor thought that, it was Tim's car in this situation.
Mike's car?
Oh, Mike. Yeah.
Oh,
Tim's car.
It was Mike's car, but he thought it was Tim's car.
Yeah. So it's kind of crazy. crazy, but like putting trash in the mail slot and stuff. I don't know like how, when this beef started, but, or I mean, it came from smoking in the building, right?
But Tim's not innocent.
I was reading this like, oh, I read the first part, right? Yeah. Like they vandalized my car and I was like, oh my God, neighbors from hell. And then I kept reading like, oh. Okay. So
damn.
Yeah. Who's at fault? I don't know, but interesting, funny submission I had. Thank you for sharing that.
Thanks.
The next one, it is a bit intense, so I'm gonna have a trigger warning here about, I don't know, death, I guess. I should say, but yeah.
Okay.
All right. In my old apartment complex, there was an elderly couple, and the husband passed away. After that, I kept finding the woman sitting, sleeping, laying down around the neighborhood, like passing out on her bike sometimes. She wasn't super social, but I found out she was getting treatment for cancer. A week before I moved out, she was passed out in front of her door, and I helped her inside of her house and found it overrun by cockroaches. They started crawling on her when she laid down, and they were everywhere. I felt so bad for her and really felt the effects of both the aging society and also the Japanese attitude of not wanting to burden anyone with the help. If offered help before, the city and our building managers were involved, but she kept refusing help, so legally they can't force it. Yeah, so not a neighbor from hell story, but that is a crazy situation in general. So yeah.
Did they try to help her?
Well, like she said, I think even if she asked the lady, she probably
would have said no.
She kept saying no, and so I think the most she could have done, and I'm glad she did in that time, was just help her inside of her house at least, you know. But kind of seeing that, like all the cockroaches and stuff, I'm sure it's really hard to see and really sad to see. But they did bring up, right? She saw the effects of the aging society here, which we did talk about in a previous episode, and how, you know, a lot of the citizens in Japan are just elderly who aren't receiving a lot of the support they deserve and stuff. So, yeah, that was an example of that.
That's a sad one.
Yeah, but anyway, that was the most intense stories we had for the day. We can end it on a palate cleanser.
Few wholesome palate cleansers.
While you're bringing that up, the same person who submitted the story, she said, on a happy note, the reason I moved into that complex was to move next door to a close Japanese friend. I would go to her place and hang out all the time. We'd have coffee and meals together, play music, chill, all that stuff. Her partner moved in with her after a while, but we were able to keep a really healthy friendship during this time. So she just recommends, if you have any like buddies, maybe just moving into the same apartment complex as them could be a really fun experience here.
That's nice.
Yeah, those are all my stories.
Okay. So we got one from Reddit and then 2 submissions.
Okay.
So this one is from 8 years ago, called Japanese Neighbor Gives Me Food? ?
Okay.
I'm not sure if this is the right place to post this. If it isn't, I apologize. For background information, I'm 26, husband is 25. I'm currently 5.5 months pregnant. We bought a house and moved in back in November. A few days later, we met our neighbor, a sweet lady whose name I can't pronounce well, something like Toshiko. Every time I see her, she gives me things. The first time she gave me a big bag of Tootsie Pops for my niece who was sleeping over. Just today, she gave me a big family-sized bag of potato chips. I'm wondering if this is a normal custom that I'm unaware of. Should I be doing something like returning the favor and giving her things as well? I don't feel comfortable asking why she gives us stuff, but if there's a custom or norm that I'm unaware of, I don't want to offend her by not reciprocating. She's always been very sweet, and I don't want to be the stupid American for not doing whatever thing and being rude. TLDR, Japanese neighbor gives me pregnant 26-year-old food. Is this a cultural thing? How do I respond to be polite?
Oh, that sounds really sweet. I would love to have a neighbor like Toshiko.
Yeah, you could read the top comment.
Yeah. They said, Toshiko is quite a common name in Japan. Judging from her name, she is middle-aged or elderly, isn't she? Some old Japanese people love to give. My neighbor, too. Probably your neighbor feels you're so cute because you're quite young. This emotion is similar to parental love. Some people feel nuisance, but she simply feels happiness when you get it willingly, so you don't have to return it every time. But if you give her a souvenir of travels or a celebratory gift once in a while, she'll be delighted. For me, your story is so heartwarming because I'm Japanese. I'm happy to know that the Japanese lady did the same thing even in America. I'm sorry for my poor English. Okay.
Yeah.
Very nice. Yeah, I was just going to to go there too. She sounds a little elderly, and yeah, this is quite common, especially if you live in the countryside, to just get stuff from your neighbors and stuff all the time.
Yeah. But actually, I didn't realize this at first, but it sounds like this person lives in America and their neighbor just happens to be Japanese.
Okay.
Maybe.
That makes more sense as to why
they were
like,
confused.
Okay.
And the Tootsie Pops. That makes sense too. I was like, whoa, where's she getting Tootsie Pops?
No, like while you're reading, when you said that, I was like, that was Tootsie the first Pop. Thing I thought. I was like, where's she getting Tootsie Pops in Japan?
In the military base?
Yeah, that makes way more sense. Yeah, she must have immigrated to the US like a long time ago. And then
I didn't even put 2 and 2 together until now.
Okay, then that makes more sense.
So much sense.
Yeah. Oh, that's really sweet then. But yeah, like that person, I know this post is 8 years ago. You've probably figured it out by now, but like that person said, just welcome her company and give her stuff once in a while if you go travel or anything. I think that's really sweet.
Oh, so sweet.
Yeah. That's so cute.
Okay.
Very sweet. Thank you for sharing that story.
Alrighty. Let's do our palate.
Yeah, I mean, that was a nice...
Doing palate cleanser. 2 more palate cleansers.
That was a nice palate cleanser to have after that intense Tim and Mike beef and the elderly lady neighbor and my screaming neighbor and all of these noise complaints. We're not here to share these to scare anyone who might live or move to Japan or move around Japan, but yeah, it does happen. Yeah. You have anything else to add about that?
About that one? No.
Okay.
Should I do my wholesome story?
Yes,
it's
please.
Not mine, but was sent to me.
Okay.
They said, one day me and my husband were walking back from a fireworks festival. When we got home, we saw this little tuxedo cat peeking at us. The next night, we went out with some food to see if he was there. Turns out 2 of our neighbors were doing the exact same thing.
Oh.
For the next 2 weeks, we would meet on our front steps and hang out with the stray cat for an hour. Eventually, the cat became super friendly. Our neighbors caught him and took him to the vet. They already had 3 cats each, so they asked if we would adopt him. It was such an amazing way to get to know our neighbors. We're still in contact with them even after they moved away.
Cute.
Here's the cat.
He's so
cute. His name is Pepper.
Oh, that's really cute. He's got a little cone on his head, but he looks so happy. I love that.
The little pads are so cute.
Man. I want a cat.
I want a cat.
Yeah, me too. It's so cute.
When my work becomes less chaotic.
Yeah.
I'm not home enough.
That's true.
For a pet.
A cat sitter. I'll go over there.
Yep.
Feed your cat.
You have one?
I don't have one.
Not
I
a cat.
had one.
Not a cat story.
I was like, no, you've been to my house.
I know you do.
I don't have a cat, no.
I know you used to.
Yeah.
Do you have one more story or was that it?
Oh, no, that was it. Sorry,
okay.
I kind of read it after the intense story.
Oh, that was it.
Yeah,
okay.
that was the story. Sorry.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, thank you for
think this was long.
With us. It was, but we had a lot of good stories, I think. It was a good long one.
Yeah. I like this episode.
I
like all of our episodes, but this was really interesting.
Yeah, I'm still shocked that Tim and Mike won. Because
we need like a TV show.
Yeah, it was not
like a short film or something of this Tim and the neighbor beef.
It just was not what I was expecting at all,
Same.
So anyway, thank you for the interesting story. For everyone who submitted, but yeah.
Yes.
All right. That's all for today's episode. Thank you for preparing the Mrs. Noisy information. Go watch that movie. Let us know how you like it.
Or at least the YouTube video.
Yeah.
The YouTube video was good.
Okay.
I can't say anything about the movie aside from my feelings about the trailer.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Discussion for another time. But anyway. All right. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And we will see you in the next one.
Yeah. Next topic is sad. Warning.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.